Alrighty, kicking it off today with this new format. Yesterday, a couple days ago, the live stream went for about 7 hours. Yesterday's live stream went for almost 10 hours. The plan has been to make them sort of a work along kind of a stream where people can sort of drop in on me as the project has been in progress. Turns out that 9 or so hours of video is really hard to skim through after the fact for folks who are curious about the state of things. It's also pretty likely that you'll drop in during a boring part. So I got some feedbacks from some folks and we're changing up the format. This is the first of this new style of format where we will treat it more like a stakeholder check-in, where periodically throughout this project or whatever project we're working on, we'll hop on the camera, we'll show a current snapshot of the way things are shaping up, and it gives folks who are watching a chance to see what's coming soon and to chime in, provide feedback. Let me know if I'm completely off course. So with that new format, let's dive right in. Let's see here. I'm gonna do one of these. So yesterday we sat down and did quite a bit. We started off by creating these animations that can explain the functionality to folks. Here we are. So this interface right here, which when they open up this new interface will basically do a little song and dance for them about how the feature works, and helps them understand how they can assign their own gesture shortcuts should that be something they want to do for themselves. If I didn't say it already, the project here is to have eyes-free gestures. Basically gestures you can perform on the main screen of the vehicle without having to take your eyes off the road. So you're in the car, you're driving, and you want to turn the air conditioner up. Normally you'd have to take your eyes off the road, find a button, push the button, and then get your eyes back on the road. With this, the idea is I can just reach over and then do a 5-finger swipe down, for example, to turn the air conditioner off. For example, maybe I want to turn the fan speed up. I do a 5-finger swipe up. Maybe I want to increase the temperature, do 5 fingers to the right. Maybe it's decrease 5 fingers to the left, or 4 fingers or 3 fingers. You get the idea. So effectively, giving folks a way to interact with their vehicle while requiring the least amount of attention from them as possible. Drivers are able to keep their eyes on the road, stay alert and attentive drivers, and basically gets you one step closer to the experience of a vehicle without a touch screen, where you can simply keep your eyes on the road and feel for the air conditioner button in the place that you know it is. That's a real advantage that gets lost when you go to a touch-sensitive surface like we have in the touchscreen in the Tesla vehicles. Something like this with these no-look gestures are a good way to bring that sort of thing back while keeping all the other benefits of having a touch-sensitive screen in the vehicle. So, as I was starting to say, I did a lot of work yesterday. Zooming around. We did this animation, and here's a little frame-by-frame version of it, as I was alluding to. You'll see that animation play out here in just a second. We also have a couple different flavors of how this menu might look in the vehicle. We did one that was this sort of, let me put this down here like this. This sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 icons in a row. A little bit more of a traditional style of a layout for these buttons and controls for configuring what your shortcuts might be. That said, we wanted to include this explainer animation, and that led to the introduction of this little, well, let me do back here like this little guy in the corner. It's a separate window. It sits off to the side, and that's a little bit, for as much as we wanted this to be standardized, with a 1, 2, 3, 4 in a familiar sort of format, this introduced an unfamiliar interface element. I'm not dead set against it. I think there are some advantages to having that kind of contextual explainer animation, especially in a situation like this where the interface is somewhat novel. That said, I really liked the way this other version started to turn out. I think this might be which one's the best example? This is a good example here. This version, I think, plays a little bit better, wherein it looks like a traditional modal. It sits on this half of the screen. It only tints, up until about this point. It doesn't have a separate modal hanging off to the side. It does use this sort of unfamiliar, compass rose layout, but given the uniqueness of the interaction, I think it really helps to explain sort of the directions. Whereas in this other version, we had to use, let's zoom in here a little bit, we had to use these arrows to try to indicate which ones were which. So I think we're narrowing it in on this flavor of a modal. We created prototypes both of this animation that would play here in context for both. And we made the animation, and then we made prototypes of both that horizontal layout version and this, what I'm calling this compass rose version, one north, south, east, west situation. So let's take a look at those now, which I believe, let's see here. Let's start with the horizontal layout. Well, let's start with this one, why not? Show preview, and then we restart it here. Okay. So we have, move the mic out of the way here. We have a screen that somebody gets to by popping open this little, car icon in the corner, brings open this settings sheet the way you normally would. We have now expanded it. We have this new gestures button we've added to this screen. And when you tap on the gestures button, boop, up pops this interface. This animation starts, and it animates in different directions, and it highlights which gesture is explaining here on the side. So it rotates around in a circle, going from the top to the bottom to the left to the right. And it'll just keep looping those unless I didn't prototype this part yet, but unless you were to tap on one of these and say, you tap on the left icon, it would continue to loop that, the icon for the thing that you had selected there. We also have this menu here. It says 5-finger swipe. Yesterday I was thinking we might punt on doing that, but now I'm thinking it might actually be a good demo to show somebody setting up, say, 3-finger swipe to open the glove box. So that will be something we're playing with today as well. Opening that up, having the different options here in the menu, being able to drag and set your own shortcut. So that's where we are today. Let me show you the horizontal one as well. Actually, let me switch this here so you can see it in all its glory once more without me in the way. This gestures button here, we smash that button, boom, this appears. The animation starts from a wider view and pushes in to give you a better sense of context, and then it animates this loop showing the direction that you're swiping to for each of these. I really like how when a shortcut is set, I'm thinking this would be a good default set of shortcuts, but when it shows up on one that's set, it says you can try it now. It lets people, helps people to understand that these are universally available. Let's restart this so we see it from the top one more time, and then we'll switch to the other prototype here. So pop it open, starts wide, and it pushes in. The thought here is animation sort of supersedes visual hierarchy for a page. So this should pull the eye in here. It should help people see what these gestures are, give people a sense for how they work, how they can use the ones that exist already, and how they can customize it and move in and sort of set up shop themselves. So that is the one I think we're going to double down on. This is the other one we made yesterday. Just for completeness sake, I'll pop this open here. Let's see here. Gestures. We didn't animate it in. Just, oh, we did, I guess. Pops up here. And the way that's blinking on these icons in sync with it blinking in the animation, which the hope is that it draws a better, stronger visual connection between the animation in one place and the animation in the other, helping people realize that, in fact, this is describing what you're seeing there. I do think that's effective, but with the compass rose version, we sort of obviate the need for any sort of arrow marker, because we basically bake it into a natural mapping. So yeah, and this is just going to loop these in a circle, and the same sort of thing. If I were to tap on one of these, it would sit there and loop that one, unless I closed the modal out, or unless I popped it open and changed the number of fingers that you're swiping with from the menu over here. So yeah, that's where we are today. I said this in the past few streams, but I mean it today. Today we're going to be creating a prototype showing when you make a gesture on the screen, what kind of indicator a user gets on screen, or whether it's audio or what have you. And there's a handful of different ways that could go in. I've got some ideas I'm looking forward to exploring. As ever, if you've got ideas, feel free to chime in. Happy to make this as collaborative as possible. So we're doing that. We're also, I think I was saying before, going to double down on this compass rose version, which we keep talking about, where things are laid out in this north, south, east, west sort of a pattern. Going to flesh out a basic example of what gesture indicators look like, and then likely expand the story by showing somebody setting up their own gesture for glove box or something else. So that is where we are today. This stream is a lot shorter and sweeter than the ones the past couple days. So with that, I'm going to switch this camera off, get back to work, and we'll see. I'll probably check in at the end of the stream. I'm thinking it might make sense to do that periodically. Just have a setup stream, a little short and sweet like this, followed by and here's what happened today sort of check-in. I think it might make sense if it's the last sort of body of work before the work is done for the week, to save that sort of recap for the presentation video. So we will see it. Maybe I'll check back in today, maybe I will not. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all immensely. You've all been extremely positive. This project's really coming together, and I'm really excited to actually have it wrapped up this week. See you soon.